Good afternoon, dear learners. Welcome to NMS Studio. So, today we are going to discuss another topic of our senior secondary course, that is Krishi, Production, Processing and Marketing. So, our topic of discussion today is lesson 6, that is the crops, cropping system and crop establishment. And today's video is the part 1 of this lesson. So dear learners, we all know that in this planet every living organism needs food to stay alive as well as to continue all other essential life processes, and to stay alive and to continue other essential processes, we need the foods, and these foods are actually coming from various types of crop plant which we cultivate in the field. And when we say about the crop production practices, it is actually meant for ensuring the food security as well as the efficient management of agricultural system. So with the help of these efficient crop production practices, we can get the sufficient amount of food which ultimately maintain the food security in this planet. So when we say about the crop production practices, it actually encompasses a range of activities in the growing, managing as well as harvesting of the crops. So dear learners, in this lesson we will know the how successfully we can employ the crop production practices in our field to harvest a good amount of crop. So after this lesson you will be able to classify the crops which on the basis of their growing nature as well as the other suitable criteria. You will also be able to develop integrated farming system plan for better farm productivity, and also you will also be able to recommend the crop for cultivation as per their specific climatic as well as soil requirement, and you will also be able to prepare the field scientifically for sowing as well as transplanting of the crops. So dear learners, let's first understand the few of the terminologies that are most commonly used in crop production practices. First terminology is crops. Then that is, what are the crops? These are the crops which are having a known economic value, and when they are grown in community with specific purposes, these are called crops. So here the important terminologies are that they are having the economic value, and the crops which are having the particularly economic values, like through selling this crop the farmers can earn the profit and money from the market. These are the crops of their these are the crops to the farmers interest. And also these crops are actually grown in the large area, and the similar types are crops actually grown in the large area, or we can say they are grown in community. So these are particularly called crops. Then comes the subsistence farming. This is a type of farming which was practiced during the ancient period of time. Here actually the agriculture is practiced to meet the food requirement of a family, and here in this case a family may be 3 to 4 people, or maybe 10, 15 or 20 people, but here the food produce that is generated from the farming is entirely consumed by the member of the family, and there is no surplus amount that is that can be sold in the market. Coming to our second type of agriculture, that is called commercial agriculture. Here actually the crops are produced to maximize the profit by selling it in the local and global market. In our day-to-day activities, we can see that there are various types of food that are found in the shopping mall, road, or many other places. And these crops, these foods are actually available in the packet or unpacked form. So when we go for commercial agriculture, we are going to cultivate the crops for some other people who are actually going to sell this food in the market. So these are actually done for the profit, and for this reason it is called the commercial agriculture. Now coming to the what are the crop production practices. Actually a crop production practice is a set of practice that are followed sequentially from the sowing, or we can say land preparation, to the harvesting. Here at the first stage there is a process of land preparation. Generally in the land are generally prepared with the help of tillage. There may be primary tillage as well as secondary tillage, and through this tillage or land preparation technique we actually prepare the land for germination and sowing of the seed. If a soil or land is not prepared well, the sowing of crops will not happen uniformly. So as a result, at the time of harvesting there will be the uneven maturity in the crops. Our next most important crop production practices are, that is the sowing as well as transplanting. In case of sowing, here the seeds of the crops are directly applied to the soil. There it may be followed line spacing or broadcasting technique. In the case of broadcasting technique, we just apply the seeds on the field and there is no particular row or line arrangement in between the seeds. While in case of line spacing, the seeds are placed in the field following a definite pattern of life. Coming to the transplanting, here actually the crops are germinated and some other places, and after that when the mainland is prepared, these germinated crops are sown into the mainland. So this process of growing the crop or germinating the crop some other place and then retransfer it into the mainland, it is the process of transplanting. This transplanting is ideally followed in case of rice. Coming to our third and one of the most important crop production practices are nutrient and weed management. A crop is like a human being, so it needs the food as well as water for their growth as well as development. So when we go for nutrient management, we actually apply the various or amount as well as the different type of crop nutrient like nitrogen, phosphorus, sulfur, as well as the various types of micronutrient like iron, manganese, zinc, copper, so that a good plant growth happens. And then comes the weed management. Actually these weeds are unwanted crop. They are actually grown in the field along with the crop plant. So here actually the soil itself acts as a reservoir of weed seed, and when we apply the nutrient as well as water, these weeds comes out from the soil. For a successful crop growth, we need to eliminate these weeds from the soil. So therefore we go for weed management through manual hand picking or otherwise the pesticide or weedicide spray. Then comes our fourth most important practice, that is the water and pest management. We all know that the plant actually needs water for their metabolic processes. So in case of India, we all know that our main source of water is the monsoon rain. However, this monsoon rain is many times erratic in nature and the crop cannot get sufficient amount of water during the monsoon season or any other season like summer season or winter season. So here we need to artificially apply the water in the field. So here comes the importance of good water management. With the help of good water management or irrigation management, plant growth plant growth occurs very successfully and we can harvest the a good amount of produce. Our sixth most important management practices, that is the pest management. Actually these pests are many type of disease as well as the insects, nematode, they actually attack the crop plant. So here we need to manage our crops or protect our crops from this pest, and for this purpose we apply the various types of pesticides like fungicide, insecticide, and these are actually helps to manage the pest management. However, these insecticides or pesticide can cause harm to our environment. For this reason we must go for the integrated pest management where the various ecological approaches to pest management can be adapted. And our last important crop production practices are the harvesting. So here we need to judge the optimum timing for the harvest of our crop, and suppose for a crop early harvest occurs, in that case that crop will not able to fetch the higher amount of price in the market, and if harvesting is delayed, in that case also our crops will not get optimum amount of price in the market. So harvesting is one of the important crop production practices, and it is the last step through which farmers can get the sufficient amount of profit from the crops by selling it in the market. So dear learners, here you can understand what are the major crop production practices in a crop cultivation process. Then comes what are the classification of the crop. Based on the growing season, the crops are actually classified into three groups. First group is Kharif crop, second is Rabi, and third one is the Zaid crop. The Kharif crops are generally sown during the monsoon season, which spans from June to October, November. Here actually these crops require the warm wet weather as well as short day length. Here actually the rainwater acts as a main source of irrigation. If here the rainwater is not sufficient, we can apply the water through the irrigation technique like sprinkler irrigation, drip irrigation, or the fallow irrigation technique. So the example of kharif crops are rice, maize, jowar, bajra, green gram, as well as cotton. Coming to the rabi crops, these are grown during the winter season. Here the time span is around from October and November month to mid-April. Here actually the plants require the cold as well as dry weather along with long day condition. And example of rabi crops are wheat, gram, mustard, lentil and field pea. And our third category of crop is called zaid crop or summer crop, and they are grown during the April to mid-June period. Here actually these zaid crops require warm and dry weather along with long day condition. So one most prominent or commonly grown zaid crops are sunflower, summer rice as well as pumpkin. Now let's understand the crops or classification of the crops based on the use. Our first category is the grain crops. The grain crops are generally the cultivated grasses along with edible starchy grain. Here actually these edible starchy grains are of economic importance for the farmer, and these grains are actually separated after the harvest from the crop and they are sold in the market. Based on the size of grain, there are two types of grain crop. One is called cereal, another one is called millet and nutri-cereal. The cereals are generally large grain crops and they are widely cultivated in India. They are like rice, wheat, maize, barley. Coming to the millets, these are generally small grain cereals. They are like finger millet, pearl millet, little millet as well as kodo millet. These are called nutri-cereal because they are having higher nutrient content than the normal cereal. So when we consume these millets of nutri-cereal, these are more nutritious for our body. Now coming to the next category of crop, that is the pulse crop. Here these are called legume crop whose seeds are actually used as a food, like making various types of dal. These seeds are actually rich in the protein and they can actually fill up the protein requirement of our body. And we all know that for a successful as well as the healthy body, we need a higher amount of protein. So these pulse crops are important source of protein of our body. And this pulse crop can cause this pulse crop have the capacity to fix the atmospheric nitrogen in their root nodule. So therefore this pulse crop can improve the nitrogen content of the soil as well as they can improve the soil fertility in the soil. There are various types of pulse crops that are grown in India. These are like chickpea, pigeon pea as well as cowpea. Coming to the oilseed crops, these are actually crops and their seeds are actually rich in the fatty acid. They are mainly cultivated for the production of vegetable oil, and based on the nature of oilseed crop, it is actually divided into two categories. One is edible oilseed crop, that is like groundnut and mustard. Another one is called non-edible oilseed crop like linseed and castor. These non-edible oilseed crops are having the various medicinal as well as industrial uses. Now next comes to the forage as well as fodder crop. Here actually its vegetative parts, it may be in the fresh condition or preserved condition, and these are actually used as a animal feed, and these forages are fed to the animal in the different forms like hay, silage, green fodder, as well as pasturage. There are different kinds of fodder crop that are grown in India, like fodder maize, fodder sorghum, hybrid Napier grass. Now our next category is fiber crop. Here actually these crops are grown for producing the fiber. Here actually these fibers are used for the making of various types of apparel, bag, and there are other industrial uses. Based on the nature of fiber or the from where it is extracted, there are the three types of fiber crop. One is the seed fiber. Here actually fibers are extracted from the seeds of that plant. Here the cotton is one type of seed fiber plant. Then comes the stem fiber, where the fiber comes from the stem. It is like jute, mesta, sun hemp. And our third category is the leaf fiber. Here the fiber comes from the leaf, that is like agave as well as the pineapple. Next comes the sugar crop. Here these crops are grown for production of sugar. These plants are like sugar cane as well as sugar beet. And when we cultivate this sugar crop, there are the generation of byproduct by the sugar industry from this sugar crop, like molasses. They are actually used for alcohol formation. Bagasse, they are used for paper making. And our third byproduct is press mud, that is used for soil amendment in the problem soil. Next comes the root crops. Here the plant roots are of economic importance, and they are sold in the market. And these crops are sweet potato, sugar beet, carrot, as well as turnip. Now our next category of crop based on use is green manure crop. Here these green manure crops are generally grown to increase the fertility of the soil. And here these green manure crops are not used for selling in the market. Here actually the green leaves or whole plant are generally incorporated into the soil at the 50 to 60 days period after growing, and when they decompose in the soil, they can add the huge amount of organic matter as well as nitrogen in the soil. Therefore the soil fertility improve. So one of the most common green manure crop in our India is dhencha, and also there is a sun hemp that may be used as a green manure crop. Our next category of crop is medicinal crop. Here these crops are having the medicinal value, so they are used for preparation of medicine. Then next comes the vegetable crops. Here these crops are grown to harvest their fruit, root, and leaf, and they are used for afresh. They are used as afresh for human consumption. They are like tomato, potato, brinjal, etc. So our next group is the spice and condiments. Here actually these crops are grown to extract their fruit or any other plant part that are used to add flavor, taste, and color to our food items. These crops are like ginger, garlic, cardamom, pepper, turmeric. And our last category of plant is called beverage plant. Here actually these are used for preparation of various types of stimulating drink. These are like tea as well as coffee. So dear learners, let's take a break. After that we will know what are the major cultivated crops that are grown in India. Welcome back, dear learners. So we have discussed the various types of crops and their classification based on their usage, and we have also understood the how and what are the crop production practices are employed in the field to grow and harvest successful amount of produce. So dear learners, let's understand what are the popular cultivated field crops of India. So one of the major and most important crop of our India is rice, and the rice is produced and actually this rice is produced all over the India, and the scientific name of this rice is Oryza sativa, and it comes from the family Poaceae. The major growing states of rice in India are West Bengal, Uttar Pradesh as well as Punjab. Coming to the next crop, that is the wheat, its scientific name is Triticum aestivum. It comes from the same family, that is of rice, that is the Poaceae. It is mostly produced in Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh as well as Punjab. Our third crop is maize. Its scientific name is Zea maize and its major growing states are Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka as well as Rajasthan. And our fourth type of crop is barley. Here also it actually member of same family Poaceae. Its scientific name is Hordeum vulgare and its major growing states are Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan as well as Madhya Pradesh. And our last category of crop is oat. Its scientific name is Avena sativa. It is actually grown in the Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh as well as Haryana. Next comes the millet. Here the most popular or cultivated millet is sorghum, which is commonly called as a jowar. Its scientific name is Sorghum bicolor. It is mostly grown in the South India. Then comes pearl millet, whose common name is bajra. Its scientific name is Penicetum glaucum and it is grown mostly in Rajasthan, Maharashtra as well as Gujarat. Our third category, that is the finger millet or commonly known as a ragi. It is grown in the Karnataka, Tamil Nadu as well as Uttarakhand. Its scientific name is Eleusine coracana. Then comes sugarcane. Its scientific name is Saccharum species. There are various types of species in the sugarcane, and India is one of the country in the world where all the species of sugarcane are grown as well as cultivated, and this sugarcane is mostly cultivated in Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra as well as Karnataka. Then comes the legume crop. Here the first legume crop is the chickpea. Its scientific name is Cicer aretinum and it is mostly cultivated in Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh as well as Rajasthan. And the most of these legume crops are actually member of Leguminosae family. Under this family there is PGNP, lentil as well as green gram. Like the scientific name of PGNP is Cajanus cajan, then lentil is Lens culinaris and the green gram is Vigna radiata, and all of them like lentil and green gram, they are mostly cultivated in the Madhya Pradesh. Then comes oilseed crops like mustard. It is actually member of Cruciferae family and its scientific name is Brassica species, and Rajasthan is one of the state where this mustard is widely cultivated. Then comes cotton, from where the fiber is extracted for the apparel, textile as well as various other uses. Its scientific name is Gossypium species and it is a member of Malvaceae family. Then comes tobacco plant. Its scientific name is Nicotiana tabacum and its family is Solanaceae, and it is mostly grown in the Andhra Pradesh, Telangana as well as Gujarat. Then comes the jute, from where the fiber is also extracted. It is a member of Malvaceae family, and there is two type of jute. One is Corchorus capsularis, another one is Corchorus olitorius, and this jute is mostly cultivated in West Bengal, Assam as well as Bihar. Now let's understand what are the cropping system as well as farming system. Now let's understand what is the definition of cropping system. It is actually time, sequence as well as management of crops that are grown on a specific field over a set period of time. Here actually which type of crop to be grown, and if there is more than two crops is to be grown, which crops should be planted first and which crops should be planted later, and how the management practices will be followed in the field. These are all part of cropping system, and in India there are various types of cropping system. There is like monocropping, double cropping, as well as multiple cropping. In case of monocropping, here the same land is occupied by one crop during a year. Like if a farmer is having a land and he is cultivating the rice in a year, then this farmer is practicing the monocropping. Then comes double cropping. Here actually same land is occupied by two crops during a year, and suppose a farmer is having land, he may cultivate it for rice during the monsoon season or wheat in the winter season. Then this farmer is practicing the double cropping in his land. And then comes the multiple cropping. Here the same land is occupied by more than two crops in a year. So here may be that farmer is cultivating the rice in the monsoon season, then comes wheat in the rabi season, and then the vegetables in the summer season. So this farmer here actually practicing the multiple cropping. So here we can say when the farmer goes for double cropping or multiple cropping, he actually diversifying his land, and he can earn more profit by selling more amount of farm produce in the market. So the multiple cropping and double cropping is always beneficial for farmer than the monocropping. In case of monocropping, there is also the chances of land degradation and the recurrent pest attack. So the farmer should go for diversifying his land through cultivation of various types of crops. So dear learners, from the today's session we have understood what are the cropping system, as well as what are the crop management practices. So dear learners, in the next class we will also discuss in detail what are the farming system and what are its component. So thank you so much today's class. We will meet up in the next class. Thank you.